Welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a 5-step process where you can start saying no without feeling guilty. As part of that process, I'm going to give you 2 magic phrases that make this work every single time, and then I'll get into a little bit of why we struggle with that guilt and how to overcome it. But let's jump right in to that 5-step process. Step number 1, make a list of all the people, places, and things you have a hard time saying no to, and rank them from easiest to hardest. Now, for most of us, at the bottom, the hardest is going to be mom and dad or family members. Let's not take those on from day one. Let's put those at the end, all right? That's why I want you to rank them, is so we can build the skill set and slowly move towards those tougher ones. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, I talk about this in every one of my videos. It's key. Lay out your morals and values, your needs and wants, your negotiables and non-negotiables in every area of your life. Relationships, friendships, as a parent, your hobbies, your career, all of it. What gets most people into trouble is they've never done this, and so they're saying yes to things that they just never agree with. I had a client recently, she's 17-year marriage, and she listed off 5 things in her current marriage that are non-negotiable, that she just said she never wants in her life. And she's like, but how do I deal with this now? I'm here 17 years. That's why this is so key. If we had been taught to do this from the beginning, date number 1 or 2, we would have gone, boom, that's a non-negotiable. I won't have anything to do with this. Now, we also need this because we need to know, should I say yes or no to this? And if we haven't done this process, we get stuck, end up doing something that in the moment seemed okay, but eventually we're like, how am I here? Just like the woman, 17 years later, she realizes this doesn't fit my morals and values. So it's key that we do that. And we're going to use that to exercise step number 4. But step number 3 is when the request comes in, and this is my suggestion to you for the next week, say this to every request, even if it's something you like. Start off with magic phrase number 1. Let me think about it, and I'll get back to you. You see, what that allows us to do is create space so we don't get overrun by that guilt and agree to something we don't want. It also gives us the space to ask, does this fit my morals and values? Does it fit my needs and wants? Is this negotiable or non-negotiable? That's why it's magic. It buys us time to learn that new skill. Like for me, that just snaps into my head right away. I know those so well. I know right away what to say yes or no to. And that buys us the time to develop that skill so that we know exactly how to navigate that. Now let's move on to step 4. We want to ask ourselves 4 questions. After we bought ourselves time and we've looked at our morals and values, needs and wants, negotiables and non-negotiables, we need to ask these 4 questions. The first one is this: will I ever keep score? Am I tallying up how I'm doing this for this person? If so, I need to say no. Number 2, will I bring this up in the future that I did this for them? Again, if we think we will, we need to say no. Number 3, will I harbor resentment if I do this for them? Again, we need to say no. See, think about it. Every relationship ends with people giving us a laundry list of all these things they did and never got anything in return. Well, what that means is they went against themselves. The other person really isn't to blame. But since no one taught us to lay all this stuff out, we're saying yes to things we don't want to. And we're responsible for setting that up, not the other person. Plus, we've been sold this lie by the media and everybody else that, oh my gosh, if you love somebody, you do everything for them, say yes. Well, that's not love. And that just proves it. If we have resentment, if we're keeping score, if we're bringing it up in the future, that means we never gave those things from a loving place. What we actually did was we were after manipulation. We did those things because we wanted something in return, not because we're bad people, but we've been told this lie that you're supposed to give and do everything for everybody. No, you're not. Not unless you meet those conditions. Now, question number 4 we want to ask ourselves is, do I have the reserves? This is key because there are times, think about it, where you and your partner, your best friend, you love doing certain things together. But maybe you just came home from a terrible work week or work day and you're like, I don't have the reserves. And so we bought ourselves time. Let me think about it. I'll get back to you. You process through. Well, you know what? This is something I love to do. But today I don't have the reserves. I need to say no. Okay? So those are the 4 questions we want to navigate ourselves through after we've made the request for time and we've checked it against our morals and values, our needs and wants, negotiables and non-negotiables. Now, we're at the phase where we realize we can't say yes to this. Well, most people just hate saying the word no, and most people hate hearing the word no. Why? Well, it feels like an attack. Think about it. As a child, almost everything out of our parents' mouth, that no, really communicated there was something wrong with me and that I was defective in some way. And so people, when they hear no, will tend to have a very hurtful reaction. Well, that's not true, but this is when we use magic phrase number 2, and it takes all of it away. What we say is we go back to them and say, you know, I thought about it, and this just doesn't work for me. Do you see that? It says nothing about them. They don't feel attacked. And it's all about me, that where I am in my life, at least today, it doesn't work for me. And here's the biggest reason this creates magic. Do you see? They can't argue with you. It's over. Because you know that a lot of the reasons we struggle saying no is they're going to talk us into it, especially mom and dad. They're great at spinning it into something and go, well, that's not a good reason. And see, this takes out us ever having to justify why we're saying no. So they come to us and go, well, why not? Well, it just doesn't work for me. Well, why doesn't it work for you? Because it just doesn't work for me. Well, what about it doesn't work for you? It just doesn't work for me. You see, they can never suck us in. And ultimately, we're an adult. We don't have to justify our choices anymore. We're not a child. We don't have to prove to mom and dad why this is a good thing for us to do or not do. Ultimately, if someone truly loves us, isn't filled with shame and codependency and trying to manipulate and control us, they won't challenge us. Those people that challenge us, they don't have our heart and mind. Now, these may be people close to you and you're like, Kenny, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that these people don't love and care about me. I'm not saying they don't love and care about you. But what I am saying is their love and care is dysfunctional because they're trying to tell you what you think, believe, and do is wrong. They're not supportive of you and making the best decision possible. They're more concerned with getting their needs met. Well, that's the hallmark of codependence. A truly loving person wouldn't argue with you, wouldn't try and change your mind. They'd accept, wow, this is love. This person just said no to me and they're never going to throw it in my face or be resentful. Oh, God, I love this person. And when they say no to me, that's why it's magic. Okay? So those are the 5 magic steps, I'll really call them magic steps, to learn how to say no without feeling guilty. But for some, they're going to be like, okay, I can see those working, but why do I feel guilty? And how do I stop feeling guilty? Well, let's talk about that. There are 2 main reasons why we feel guilty. One is shame. A person who's feeling guilty is actually feeling shame. They, in childhood, a pretty deep shame core was placed inside of them that they don't have value unless they're doing things for other people. So they were either told directly or indirectly that they have no worth. Because remember the example I just used? Somebody who loves you would see your worth. They wouldn't argue with you. And so especially if this is a close friend or family, especially a family member and a parent, you are discovering, my God, my parents placed their shame into me. That's my shame core. That's why I feel guilty. I'll be the bad little child again if I don't meet their needs. That's number 1. Number 2, codependence. Remember, if we're doing this out of a sense of guilt and obligation, we're doing it to meet their needs. And their request is actually to meet their needs. It's not about us. There's not nurturing and care for our own value. And so we got raised with this codependent expectation that it's our job to take care of others before ourselves. Well, we can't do that. The only way we can truly love somebody is if we're loving ourselves first, because we can't give away what we don't have. And so those are the 2 things at the core of the guilt, a shame core and codependence. Now, how do we heal that? Well, I've done 2 recent videos that'll really help you with that. The first video is called How to Heal Your Past. That will give you the skills and tools to work through that shame core and release it. And the second video will help you with your codependence, and it's called How to Create Boundaries for Yourself. Those two videos will give you the knowledge that you can then start developing a skill and turn into a tool to conquer both the shame and the codependence. And the 5 steps walk you through how to say no without the guilt. Okay? So there you go. I hope that helped you. If you think it'll help others, please share it. If you'd like to leave comments, whether you agree, disagree, whatever it is, I love hearing your thoughts and feelings. And finally, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, if you like this kind of information, if it's a help to you, please subscribe so that you get notified and never miss out on something that could help you. And finally, as I always say, just enjoy the journey.